Now, low-traffic neighbourhoods in London are still having a major impact on motorists. Previously, unseen figures show Hammersmith and Fulham Council issued more than 340,000 penalty charge notices in less than a year. That's raked in £1 million a month from motorists. Now, this is a London council, but similar things are happening across the country.
Well, let's get the thoughts now of motoring journalist Quentin Willson on this. Quentin, I suppose, on the one hand, these are changing the road layouts for people. These are making journeys longer, more tricky to navigate, and people are clearly being tripped up by it. On the other hand, when these are implemented, local residents tend to quite like them.
So what worries me about LTNs, and look, the ambition for cleaner air in our towns and cities is great, and I completely applaud that, as you know, but it's being sort of, the councils are kind of weaponising it and monetising it, and this isn't right. And we need to take the public with us on this and make environmentalism and cleaner air in our towns and cities a good thing. But like ULEZ and like Uxbridge, it's become weaponised, it's become anathema to people who drive cars. So this has been badly handled. And when I see people who are running these schemes, there was one London borough where the person who's responsible for this has a degree in sports education. I want science applied to this. We also know that there's an investigation into the people that are kind of giving us the evidence that these things work, and they are connected to contracts within those LTN schemes. And Mark Harper, the Transport Secretary, has quite rightly said we need to look at this very carefully. So this gets clean air in our cities a bad rap, and that, I think, is the biggest tragedy of all.
It's interesting you highlight that there may well be vested interests. I know there are lots of cycling activists within local councils in London and elsewhere, but this is just a cash cow, isn't it? I mean, £1 million in fines from low traffic neighbourhoods. And Tom says, oh, the residents like it. Yes, the residents who are now living on a very quiet road with no motorists are going to love it, but everyone else who has to travel through the area, who doesn't necessarily live on that nice quiet road now, they're not going to like it, are they? It's an absolute nightmare for people.
This figure is really scandalous, and I think we need to look at it very hard, because it's doing nobody any service at all apart from council coffers. And as soon as people see that this is naked profiteering, then they are going to lose faith in all this. And let's have transparency. Let's find out where that money goes, and let's reduce the cost for people. And look here, Emily, I think we call them not motorists, because this makes them sound like a privileged group. We call them drivers, because there are 40 million of them, and that's 2/3 of the electorate. That's a distinction I think it's really important to make. So this, like ULEZ, is really doing clean air and environmentalism a bad service. And we need to look at this and study it. Does it work? Does it bring the benefits claimed? And again, like the research coming out of TfL about ULEZ, you know, it can't be peer reviewed. It isn't peer reviewed at the moment.
Quentin, isn't this just an adjustment cost? People will obviously be tripped up as the road layout has changed, but it will just take time. People will get used to the new road layout, and frankly, there'll be streets where kids can run around and play as they used to do before the motor car sort of came through every city in the land.
Hang on, they've had to axe one already in Hackney or somewhere like that because it was causing so many problems. Isn't that right, Quentin?
Campaigns.
Isn't that right, Quentin?
But 2-hour delay to the bus route. But we need to look at this in a scientific way. And look, I take the point that there are some areas where it has benefited and residents love it, and that's great. But we need to include everybody in this clean air debate. Not just the people who live in the leafy suburbs of Hammersmith, it's the people on the main roads as well. The big question, do LTNs work? And if they do, how we can implement them without this divisive, apparently money-making scheme behind it. And that's a really important message we've got to get across to consumers.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Quentin Willson, who is, of course, a motoring journalist.